Now we're going to take conditional statements and manipulate them. So we're going to change them. We're going to switch things around or add words to them and kind of see how that changes whether or not a statement is true or false. So the first thing is we're going to find the converse of a conditional statement. So you will interchange the hypothesis and the conclusion. You're literally just going to switch the hypothesis with the conclusion. So we're going to do some hand motions that help you remember which one's which. So put 2 thumbs up and think of these 2 thumbs as your hypothesis and your conclusion. I guess this will be mirrored for you. So hypothesis and conclusion. Whatever. Think of what is the hypothesis and what is the conclusion. So for the converse, you're going to switch them. They're literally going to switch places. You're going to take the hypothesis and put it in the place of the conclusion, put the conclusion in the place of the hypothesis. Sorry if you hear something in the background. I'm doing laundry because I'm an adult and I do my own laundry. So converse, you switch them. Inverse, you are going to negate the hypothesis and the conclusion, both the hypothesis and the conclusion. And negating something means adding the word not, don't, won't, etc. So if you think about the word negate, it sounds a lot like the word negative. So instead of saying I am a teacher, you would say I am not a teacher. So if you're going to find the inverse, you're going to negate. Notice I made a thumbs down. Negate. Negate the hypothesis and the conclusion. So converse, you switch them. Inverse, you negate them. And then contrapositive, you do both. You switch them and negate them at the same time, simultaneously. So they're switching places. Hypothesis and conclusion are switching places and being negated at the same time. So converse, you switch them. Inverse, negate them. Contrapositive, switch them. And make a stink face. It makes it more fun. Okay, so our statement is, if it is Independence Day, then it is July. Independence Day is July 4th, so that makes sense. So the converse is I'm going to take the hypothesis, which is it is Independence Day, and switch it with the conclusion. It is July. So my converse would be if it, whatever, that works. If it is July, then it is Independence Day. So converse, you switch them. Inverse, we're going to negate the hypothesis and the conclusion. So inverse would be if it is not Independence Day, then it is not July. So I just add the word not to both the hypothesis and the conclusion. And then the contrapositive will be sorry, this is taking forever. I'm trying to not have to have you read my ugly handwriting on the screen. So the contrapositive would be if it is not July, then it is not Independence Day. Ooh, I forgot the U in July. So I switched the hypothesis and the conclusion, and I negated them at the same time. So let's talk truth value, because sometimes your original statement might be true and your converse and inverse might not be true. So if it is Independence Day, then it's July. This is true. Truth value is true because July 4th, Independence Day. If it is July, then it is Independence Day. That converse is false because it could be July 5th, which is my best friend Lisa's birthday, or it could be July 7th, which is my mom's birthday. Those are days that are in July, so I'm making my hypothesis true, but the conclusion is false. So this is false because I can find a counterexample, July 5th. Really any other day in July that's not July 4th. The inverse, if it is not Independence Day, then it's not July. Another false statement. The truth value is false because it could be July 7th. July 7th, my mom's birthday, is not Independence Day, but it is July. So it's making this hypothesis true. It's not Independence Day, but it is July. Counterexample, so it's false. But huge idea right here. Super important. If your original statement, if your original conditional statement is true, then the contrapositive will also always be true. The truth value of your original statement and the truth value of the contrapositive will always be the same. So converse, it could be true or false. Inverse, it could be true or false. But if your original statement is true, your contrapositive will always be true. The original and the contrapositive have the same truth value.